Hey, good morning. New day, new week. And the sun's not quite up yet, but I'm going after that cow on the desert right now. So I just loaded up my dogs and we're going down there, and hopefully we're gonna find her and get her this morning. But it's the last cow we have down there, and so we need to get her. So we're gonna see what happens. Anyway, we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna talk horses. So hopefully it'll be a good week and a good video. Check tracks at this water and see if that cow's been in here to water. Well, that didn't take too long. Dogs hit a fresh track and they're gone. I can hear them barking. Oh, we're gonna go find her right now. Well, she's not running now. Good dogs. Good job. Good job. Good job. All right, that's good. Come here, George. Come back. You're all right. She's good. Good boy. Getting on the fight just a little bit. George, that's good. Hey, hey. And George, he's not gonna let her get too far in front of us, is he? That's good. Stay back.
Come on, go.
Lou.
Come on. Hey.
He's getting mad at Wayne.
Come on. Don't put my rope down here far either. Come on.
Well, she keeps trying to run away, but keep letting the dogs hold her up. Well, that went good. We found her quick. Those dogs were on her and got her quick. Once they started in on her, she quit running and calf stayed right with her. And so we're gonna load her and take her home. We're happy. Good dogs, they just make all the difference. Feel okay. Got home before it got too hot. Got that cow taken care of, so that's a good thing. And you know, boy, what a good feeling it is to get the last cow off the desert. That's just always something that's kind of a monumental thing. We find all the cows and get them home, and so it's a good thing. Those dogs helped out a ton. If we hadn't had them, we'd probably still be out there hunting tracks, and maybe she'd have ran harder than she did, but they just held her in check, and she wanted to run, but then she got fighting us and everything. So anyway, it was just a good thing. Have the dogs, get that taken care of as quick as we could. So, all right, for the rest of the video, I want to focus on horses and tell you a little bit about some of our opinions and give you the disclaimer. These are only our opinions, and so everybody's got one. And these are ours. But wanted to share those with you. We've had lots of things going on lately with horses and horse sales and futurities. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's always the season to buy horses for us, but this time of year we're focused quite a bit on horses, and so wanted to spend some time talking about them and want to give you our top 5 list. Things that we look for when we're buying a horse, and maybe some things that you want to be aware of when you're buying a horse, and some cautions on that too. So anyway, here we go. So first on our list, disposition and intelligence. I know it might not be on everybody's top 5 list, but it's on ours, I can tell you that. We've just learned over the years that there's no substitute for a disposition and intelligence in a horse. And most of the time, those two things come hand in hand. And if you have that, you can work with the horse. And we got to have a good horse that has a good positive disposition, and a horse that has intelligence. Horses that do, they're trainable, and they retain things and they don't forget. And that's a big deal. So that's number 1 on our list. Okay, and our number 2 is horse has to be physically put together right. They've just got to have good bone and good feet and all that stuff that you look for in a horse. You know, when you walk up to a horse, your first impressions are usually pretty right. You know, if the horse is looks good and his feet are right and everything, then that's a good sign. It's not always I don't know, some people put that physical appearance first, and you know, if a horse looks good, then they kind of make up a story behind the horse so that they could justify buying the horse. But that's just a caution, I think. So when I'm looking at a horse physically, what I want is a horse that has, like I say, the feet and bone and size. I'm not super picky on size. I mean, I don't want a horse that's too small, but yet I'm not going to pass a horse up that's a little on the smaller side. And I don't want a horse that's too big, because, you know, there's things that go along with that too. So for us, I mean, we have some horses that are 14.3 hands and are great. And we have horses that are 16.1, and they're great. So, but it's just that their physical makeup and ability that you'll want to pay attention to. You know, we've had horses that had okay feet, but they weren't great. And for us, that's one of those things that we kind of have to look at, because we ride in lots of rough, rocky country. And if the horse has bad feet and loses a shoe, we might not even make it back to the trailer. So anyway, that's just a big one for us. Okay, number 3. We want a horse that's honest. And That just means a horse that's the same every day. You know, if I have an honest horse, it's okay if they have quirks and little things that maybe are not perfect. I don't think there's any such thing as a perfect horse, but if you have a horse that's not honest, that's pretty tough. And so what we call a horse that's not honest is we call him counterfeit. And man, I hate a counterfeit horse. I do. I don't like them. And I have one or two. And let me tell you what, you don't see them much on these videos because they are not long for our place. They are going down the road. They're hard to sell too, like, because, you know, again, you want to be honest about things. And so you start getting a horse that's kind of counterfeit, and then you got to sell him, and oh, that's a tough thing to do. But anyway, honesty. So what do I mean by honest? And again, that's just a horse that's the same day in and day out. But you can predict what the horse is going to do and how they're going to act in certain situations. And they just act the same all the time. And so we have horses that have issues that I think are super honest. Like Jake, Big Jake, he's awesome. He's one of our best horses. Let me tell you what, I don't think we'd ever sell him. And he has little quirks to him. He doesn't like to rope in a corral. And when you load him in and out of a trailer, sometimes he has anxiety about getting in the trailer because it's full of other horses that might beat him up. He's kind of low on the pecking order, and so when he goes into the trailer, he goes in pretty quick, and we've had to work with him on that. But you know, those are just small things. He rides great, and we love him, but he's honest. You know, he's honest about it. He's a horse that's not honest. They might let you ride him for 3 or 4 hours and be great, and then they might try to throw you off. Or you might ride them for 2 or 3 days and they might run away with you. And like I say, we call them counterfeit. And boy, I don't like them. And I don't like to have them around because we have lots of family and kids and sometimes inexperienced people. And so I can't afford to have a counterfeit horse around. So honesty, that's like our number 3 on our list. Okay, and you've heard me talk a lot about this in the past, but our number 4 thing is breeding and bloodlines. We pay a lot of attention to that. If we have that, we can kind of predict how a horse is going to act and what they're going to do and how they're going to turn out. And so a lot of horses that we have now are related to each other, half brothers, full brothers. And so, our siblings, you know, whatever, but we understand the breeding and we know where they're coming from. And it's a good predictor of how a horse is going to turn out and how they're going to act. And so, again, we pay a lot of attention to that. Now, that doesn't mean that a grade horse isn't going to be, you know, a good horse. And a good example of that is you look at that Hoorah horse. Hoorah is a grade horse. And he is just a cross between a Mustang and a draft horse. And that is one of the best dang horses I've ever been around. And just a horse that's worth $1 million. And so it's not, papers aren't everything and they don't determine everything for us, but it is a big deal. It can cut down on the chances of making a mistake. So those papers are important. Okay, the last thing on our list is I want a horse that's confident. And I can build confidence in a horse, but sometimes horses just naturally are not confident. And that's hard because all those horses can be fearful and spooky. Most of them bawl all the time. They're whiners, you know, you get them alone and they start whinnying and carrying on. And I hate that. A horse that bawls all the time is not paying attention to anything but where his buddy is. And so they're not watching their feet. They're not watching cows. They're not listening to me. And they're just, they're not right in the head is the best way I can describe that. So I like a horse that has some confidence to him. Now I can build confidence in a horse. I take him out by himself and stuff. And let me just say this, like young horses, green horses, they do, they lack confidence, and you have to work with them to build that confidence. But if you've been riding a horse for a year or whatever, and they're still just bawling and they won't go away from their buddies, and you get out in the trees and they have anxiety and stuff like that, that's not a good thing, not a good sign either. And might want to really reevaluate that horse, because they just don't seem to get any better. I mean, it's just a confidence issue. And like I say, you can build their confidence, but you have to focus in on that and do things that are going to build confidence. Anyway, that's our top 5. So just a horse market in general, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, there was a jump in that horse market. I don't know if it was during COVID or exactly what it was, but horses are expensive, and I don't see them coming down, their value coming down anytime in the future. I thought it was going to, but it's not. It's staying pretty strong. And so a horse is an investment, and you have to kind of look at it that way. So you want to have a game plan when you go to buy a horse, or a strategy. You don't want to just walk in and buy a horse that you haven't seen or that you don't know. They're just too expensive. And because horses are worth a lot of money, there are a lot of people out there who want to take advantage of you, and who want to get the most they can out of a horse that's not worth very much. And so one of the things that we also pay attention to is how a person describes a horse. And if I go look at a horse and they say, oh, all this horse needs is more miles and a few wet saddle blankets, that's like my number one alert right there. It's like, no, most of the time that's not the case. Most of the time that's just something that people say to themselves to convince them that the horse might get better. If it just needs a few more miles and some wet saddle blankets, then why haven't they put them on, and why isn't that horse good? So usually there's more to the story if they're telling you that. That's just one of those things that is a red flag for us. All right, and also you want to be able to try the horse. Get on that horse and ride it around. If they'll let you take it for a day, take it for a day. But when you're going to spend $5,000 or $6,000 on a horse, or $7,000 or more, you want to know what you're getting, and you dang sure don't want to not try that horse out. It's just too big of an investment. And so the people, if they're confident in their horse and they're telling you the truth, they will let you try the horse out. And like I say, they may even let you take it for a day or whatever. I also try to get horses from people that I know and from places that I know. People I've done business with in the past. That's a big deal to us. I want to know the horse. I want to have seen the horse. And if I have, then I'm pretty confident in buying the horse. If I haven't, boy, you got to be really, really careful. So some people go to horse auctions and buy horses. Some people have friends or whatever that have horses. But it's just a big caution there. Know as well as you can, know what you're about to get into. And you don't want to get caught off guard. I tell you, it is like the worst feeling in the world to get a horse home and a few days later realize you made a mistake, because now you're stuck. And so, oh my heck, I've done that. I've done that so many times. And, you know, I've learned some hard lessons, and I'm still learning hard lessons. And when I have a hard lesson, it's because I didn't follow the things that I listed in that top 5 list. So anyway, that's our opinion on horses and kind of how we go about buying a horse. There's other things to consider, and budget's always one of those things. But when you're spending as much as we are on horses today, you need to have a plan, that's for sure. Oh, I hope that was helpful. All right, so we're right in the middle of our summer work, and next week we got a big week. I still got some fence to fix, dang it. And we've got some cows that we need to move around, and we're just gonna be right back at ranching. Kind of a typical summer ranching stuff that we do. And we're gonna take a few days off the rest of this week. We're gonna go fishing and doing some things that we enjoy as a family besides work. We don't do that very often. We spend a lot of time with family, but most of the time it's work. And so it's going to be fun to take a few days off and to kind of take a break, and then we'll be back at it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope it was helpful, and we'll see you next week.